Daniel, hey, this is Coach Matt over at EliteThrowsCoaching.com. So I wanted to do the video analysis here of Claire and kind of give you an idea of what's going on and help you to hopefully get that PR out there a little further and help Claire to qualify. First of all, thanks so much for purchasing the video analysis and for sending in the video so quickly. Um, Whenever we take a look at an athlete that's Claire's age, the number one word that pops into my head is consistency. We want to see real consistent movement working from the ground up. So the first thing that we have to look at is feet. And I really like the fact that you put her new PR, the 22-meter throw, kind of at the end of this video because we get to see a lot of, and I like this viewpoint as well that you took the video from. We get to see where the discus is flying, but we also get to see what's going on with her feet and her upper body and how those two things are really related. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just slow this down a little bit. I'm going to put this down to quarter speed. And we're going to take a look at some of these throws here. So we've got a ton of left sector files going on here. So I want you to look at where Claire's feet are. So if you look at the left sector line right here, her feet in this throw are lined up almost like she's on a balance beam. And that's what I like to see. You got her feet kind of almost on that balance beam. If you were to extend this left sector line all the way back, you could see that her toes would pretty much be on that line. That's exactly where I like my athletes to focus on, to stay on, is that left sector when they're in the back of the circle. Let's take a look here. So we're going to see Claire's going to pull back, and I want you to really look at where her feet start and then where her feet finish. So we'll see here, come through, boom. She's right in the sector lines. So she's not really on the left sector, which is fine. She's kind of on the left side of that sector. There's a nice shadow that forms here that makes that sector even smaller. You can see she's inside the sector, and the discus pretty much goes right down the middle. All right. Now, in the next couple throws we're going to look at, again, where does she start? So she's not starting in the same spot as before. She goes through the throw, and we're going to see what happens. So see how she kind of gets happy feet? Everything starts moving around. Now she's sort of on that left sector line, but where does she run to? Boom. Now we're not in that sector anymore. With the younger athletes, I always call this a pizza slice. So it's like a slice of pizza right here. That's where you want to land. She's in way off to the left. So where do her feet go? She follows it, but where does her feet go? Her feet start pointing this way. So her feet are lined up now, kind of like it's going to run right into the post here on the cage. And we'll see. Boom. Goes way down left sector. I mean, very, very close to being a left sector foul. That may actually have gotten in, but she's going off to the left. Her feet are going down the left, which means that when she throws, her hips and her upper body, her chest and her head are going to go down the left. It's funny. It's almost like she's showing here where she should be landing. So I think she has a good idea of it. It's just making sure that she is landing in that spot every time. Consistent focus on landing on that spot. See here the same thing. Feet are in a different place than they were the first couple throws. Now she's got her right foot all the way over here. She's kind of got happy feet in the back of the circle where those feet kind of twist and just kind of move all around. Let's see. Okay, way off into the left. Discus goes down the left. So it all starts with the feet. That's the number one thing we have to look at is the feet. Again, different starting point right here than before. The feet are moving all around, kind of got a little bit of happy feet right there. And then left sector, there it is. She's way off to the left. And let's take a look at where the hips finish. Hips are trying to finish down the middle, but where's the upper body go? Where the feet are pointing, goes left. So everything now is facing that way. That's where the discus is going to go. So we really need to, I think the first step, consistently make sure that Claire is landing in the pizza slice. Ideally, what we'd like to see is, I'd love to see the right foot landing right here where the cursor is. So right where the cursor is, and the left foot should be just to the left of 6 o'clock. So we want that left foot to be on the inside of the sector lines. Boom, there's another left sector file. So we want her left foot to be pretty much her left toe should be where that shadow is. So her left foot should be right here in this area, right where the tip of the cursor is that I'm drawing. Her right foot should be right here in the middle. And that's going to give her a really good kind of heel toe position. The toe of her left foot should be lined up with the heel of the right foot. So a nice heel toe position, and pointing everything down the middle of that sector when she finishes. And it's kind of funny, when we get to her PR, we're going to see that's, I don't know if she purposely did it or if it just happened to fall that way, which is lucky, but that's exactly where her feet are when she throws her PR, and the discus goes right down the middle. So let's keep taking a look here. Again, left sector, puts it over the left side of the cage. The other thing to keep in mind too is she's using a 500 gram, so a half kilo discus. Very lightweight discus. Very easy to, if that thing is just off a little bit, it's very easy to put that thing, when you do a very small change to a discus that size, it's going to make a massive change in how it flies because it's such a lightweight and such a small discus. It's so tiny that and so lightweight. If there's a little mistake in the circle, it's going to compound. It's going to look a lot worse on the discus. Again, feet in a different spot. Boom, boom. You can tell she's a little off to the left. And there it goes, way left. So we've got to make sure she's going almost straight down the middle. Now see how she's all the way over here to the right, where before her toe was here. Sometimes that left foot's back here. Sometimes it's close. Boom. Left side of the sector. And this one looks like it's going to stay in. It's curving over a little bit. All right, good. So that one went in, but you can see how they're all going left. And it's because her body typically is landing way over here to the left. Let's see. Left and left. Even that, her left foot was on the left sector line, and it still went left. And I think that shows exactly how kind of finicky these little discuses can be. Let's see. Middle, middle, and it stays in a little bit. Okay. So we're getting there. But really consistent moving down the middle, trying to get that left foot down here toward sort of between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, if you can imagine that. If the left sector line is 5 o'clock, right down the middle is 6 o'clock, we want her left foot landing right here. Again, she goes left of it, so the discus goes left. It's funny, most athletes have trouble because they throw right sector fouls if they're right-handed. She's actually getting her hips around too much because her feet are pointing too far down the left. Left, left, bang, right into the cage. This was sort of a stepping standing throw. And look it. So why does that one go down the middle? Let's take a look at this throw. This is just her standing throw. So where's the right foot? The right foot is right at the intersection, so pretty much right in the middle of the circle. If you were to draw a straight line from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, that's exactly where her right foot is located. I'd like to see it inside, so maybe another, 6 inches or so inside the circle. And let's see the left foot. Bang. Left foot is on that line. So you can see it's almost that heel toe position. Her left foot's not all the way out here outside that sector line. Turns. Now she picks her feet up off the ground, which is something else we have to talk about. But look at where her head, sternum, hips, knees, and feet, they're all pointed sort of down this area. They're kind of pointed right at you in the middle of that sector. Where's the discus going? Boom. Middle of that sector. Now she falls off a little bit to the left, which is why the discus goes a little bit to the right, but you can really see the difference. If her feet are lined up down the middle, the discus is going to go down the middle. If her feet are over here to the left side of that sector, the discus is going to go to the left side of that sector. Okay, and you can see different starting position with the feet. Consistency is key. Bang. Way left. She's never landed here. She's been landing up here. So just consistency and movement. Boom. Big left sector fall because she's all the way over on the left side of the circle. Now her PR is coming up. It's one of these. Yeah, I think it's in another 2 or 3 throws, it looks like. But again, different starting position than before. Now she's facing down the middle instead of facing sideways. And look what happens. She's way over here again. Left foot's way over here. Now look, draw a straight line. Right foot, left foot. It's probably where her hips are going to go, and that's probably where the discus is going to go. Yep, exactly where her feet were pointing. So if the feet are lined up down the left, that's where the discus is going to go typically, is down the left. So consistent movement. We want her consistently driving, starting in the same spot and driving to the same spot. It all starts with the feet. Left, left. Ooh, she actually released that one early to get it down the middle. So again, you can see what happens is that now you start to make adjustments. Now she's starting to figure things out and make adjustments. This is her PR. So she's starting to figure things out. She's starting to make adjustments. She's starting to compensate, but it's not the right thing to do. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You can't, you got to go fix it. So you can't just patch it up and say, okay, well, good enough. You got to say, all right, let's fix it from the ground up. So let's take a look. Feet lined up where they should be. So we've got the left foot and the right foot kind of on. If you were to extend or imagine that sector line was painted. Does a good job keeping those feet on the ground. Boom. Now it's not perfect, but look at where it is. If it was over here another 2 to 3 inches, that's exactly where I want the toe landing. Inside of the front half of the circle, right about here. So move her toe from there to there, and that's exactly where I want her to land every time. Left foot gets down, boom. Left foot's down just to the left of kind of between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Good heel toe position. Head, shoulders, chest, hips, knees, feet, all pointed down the middle. Discus goes down the middle. Boom. Almost hits you, but really connects with that one. So that is exactly what I want to see every single time out of someone who's Claire's age. Not necessarily worrying about, how far it's going, not necessarily wondering, if she's blocking with her left arm or like where her head is looking or anything like that. I really want to see consistently landing in the middle of that sector with the feet lined up. So here's 12 o'clock. If we draw that straight line right here, here's 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock being down here. Boom. Left, left, and now See how the discus is going down the right? Because now she's not getting her hips around. So before she knew, I'm going to throw. I'm going to keep everything in a straight line. My hips are going to go in a straight line, but everything was going down the left. Now she's still going down the left. She's saying, going down the left, going to the left, but I'm going to throw it really, really early so the discus hopefully goes down the middle. So she's starting to compensate, and she's starting to throw. Kind of two wrongs never make a right. So she's starting to throw. The feet are wrong, and then she's releasing early to try to make that thing go down the middle, and it just isn't going to happen. All right? So that's the biggest thing to work on, is just where her feet are starting. This is, she barely even came through the circle on that one. So that was a little bit of an oddity. But you can really start to see that what needs to happen here with someone Claire's age, consistent movement in the circle. So starting with her feet in the same position every single time and landing with her right foot just inside of that pizza slice and her left foot down here between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. If we can do that every single time, she's going to be able to have more consistent throws. Now that's one where, just like the last one, she went down the left, her hips went down the left, the discus went down the left. So it's all about consistency with her movement. Consistent movement is going to be key, and it all starts with the feet. Now, the second thing we need to talk about to have her work on is what we call a non-reverse throw. So you can see that when Claire does her throws, she picks her feet up at the end of the throw. This is something that I really don't like to see in athletes her age. I really want to see non-reverse throws. See how she picks up that right foot and kind of brings it forward? When you pick that right foot up off the ground, you lose connection with the ground. Okay? So you lose connection with the ground. We want to see her keep her feet on the ground and continue to extend and continue to push through the ground until that discus is out of her hand. So you can see here, this is her first throw, which is one of the better ones because she starts in a really good position here. So her first throw, we'll see. I'll try to pause it here. It's tough with YouTube. We'll pause it here. So the right foot lands, boom, in a pretty good spot. Again, we'd like to see it a little bit over, maybe another, 4 or 5 inches over this way. Left foot hits. Now she's able to apply power through her legs. She's able to push, push, push. At this point, she's on the very, very tip of that right toe, so she can no longer apply power through those legs. So now she still has the discus in her hand, but she can't apply power anymore. And then the next step, the foot's completely off the ground, and the discus isn't out of her hand yet. So we've got to get her to keep the feet on the ground so that she can apply power throughout the entire throw. I would really try to get out of the habit of picking these feet up off the ground because you're not able to apply power. No different than, if you were trying to throw a ball and you kept both feet on the ground and threw the ball versus if you were to jump in the air and try to throw a ball. As soon as you take the legs out of it, then you can't apply power anymore. You need that stable base. So that's going to be number 2. And again, as you can tell, building habits is going to be the key. So those are really the 2 big things, making sure that the right foot is landing in the correct spot. So we want the right foot here, the left foot there. So we want it inside that left sector line, imagining sort of that you're on the balance beam. And then the other thing too, and this is sort of the small thing, but you can do it on every one of her throws, is just to make sure that she's starting with her feet in the right spot. So that's something we talked about earlier, but if you're going to be landing in the same spot every time, you need to start in the same spot every time. So what I want you to start to do is to envision that this is actually a tighter sector. So instead of drawing the line how she starts on the sector line, and then her feet are back here, right? So let's go back. So see how her feet are on the sector line? I want her to picture that the sector line is now going from, instead of 11 to 5, kind of going from like 5:30 to 11:30. So cut it off a little bit. Get this right foot back here a little bit more. That way it's a straight run. So the right foot lands where it needs to, the left foot lands where it needs to. Instead of landing down here or down the sector, down the inside of the sector. All right, so consistency, consistency, consistency. That's the name of the game here. Building really good habits and trying to correct the bad ones. So, three things again, just to recap. Number one, we want her feet landing in the same spot every single time. We want her feet starting in the same spot every single time. And we want her to keep her feet on the ground and not switch her feet or not lift her feet up off the ground as she throws. So, three things, and let me tell you, these are things that I correct and do video analysis for on high school students that have been throwing 3 or 4 years, some even longer if they started throwing when they were Claire's age. College athletes that send these video analysis sessions to me, college athletes, I still have to correct the same stuff. And I always say to these guys, I say, I wish I could go back in time. I wish I had a time machine. I could go back in time. And when you first started throwing, when you were 9, 10 years old, when you first started throwing, these are the three things I would correct. And this is exactly the same three things that I would correct with Claire. All right, so that's what I got for you today. Again, I'm going to send along an email that kind of details and clearly explains all this stuff and some strategies that you can use to get her to stay on that line. Pretty simple stuff. But if she makes these three corrections and starts making these habits, consistent throws down the middle are going to start happening. You're going to see a lot more like that 22-meter throw that goes down the middle. You're going to see a lot more throws like that. And Claire's going to, be a lot more confident going into her meets. She's going to be throwing a lot farther at her meets, and she's going to make it farther into the season. So keep doing what you're doing. This looks great. It looks like she's having a lot of fun, which I like to see. She's out there putting in the work, which is awesome too. So keep it up. Let me know if you have any questions. You can email me directly back to the email, or you can hit me up on the Elite Throws Coaching website as well. Again, thanks again for sending in the video. I'll talk to you guys soon.